I'd like to introduce Casey Lambert with the St. Louis County Police Department.
Hi there. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Greg, thank you. That took tremendous strength to come up here and say that story. As a parent, anybody else out there, I know you can agree with me. So in January of 2015, we started what is called the Heroin Initiative in St. Louis County. Our department thought it was necessary for us to take an initiative because we were seeing so many heroin overdose deaths. And I'm just going to go through a few graphs and show you exactly what we are seeing in St. Louis County and go from there. That story that you just heard happened over 181 times in St. Louis County last year. This graph shows 156, but I just talked to the medical examiner's office this morning and we were up to 181. Every story is unique. They all have different scenarios, but this happened to 181 families just in St. Louis County. That's not including the city, St. Charles, or anywhere else. That's just here where we live. Take a look at the graph. We go back to 2001. We had 11 deaths here in St. Louis County in 2001. But in 2016, again, we're up to 181. So they are increasing at drastic rates. Let's go nationwide. In 2013, 26,000 people died nationwide. And look as they increase year after year. In 2015, we're at 33,000, and 2016 numbers have not come in yet. Greg talked a little bit about fentanyl. Fentanyl we can blame this on 70% of the increased deaths that we have seen. Fentanyl is coming up in the labs all the time. You see the numbers, how they just increased from 15 to 16. And 70% of those are because of fentanyl. A lot of people ask, where does fentanyl come from? It comes from China. You can buy it online. You can get it synthetically online. It comes from Mexico. It comes in just like the heroin does, marijuana. It comes in however drugs are transported. It could be by mail, UPS, FedEx. However, fentanyl is cheaper than heroin, but it's also so much purer than heroin, right? So it all comes down to supply and demand. If I'm a drug dealer on the streets, I'm doing it to make money, right? And if I sell these people that are coming to me to buy drugs, dope that is not potent, that will not get them the high that they're looking for, they're not going to come back to me. They're going to go to somebody else. Because I promise you, there's more dealers out there than you guys think. So as a dealer, I'm going to make my drugs as potent as possible. So if it takes fentanyl, I'm going to put fentanyl in it. I'm going to mix whatever I can to this heroin to make it the most potent I can to get these people coming back to me. And that's what these individuals are dying from. The purity levels have gone up drastically. In 2001, let me just give you guys a little scenario. So when our detectives and our officers seize drugs, we send it to the lab to identify exactly what it is. Last year in the spring, it's almost been a year now, DEA detectives in St. Louis County seized over 7 kilos of fentanyl. At the time, they thought it was cocaine. So just imagine these detectives are handling these kilos, which is 2.2 pounds each, and there's 7 of them. They're handling these drugs, but just a little bit of that on their skin could have knocked one out immediately. So it's in our area, and there's large amounts of it. But on average, in our labs in 2001, the heroin levels that we were seeing were 13% pure. Okay? It's high, but it's not that high. Look in 2016. Our average purity levels that we're seeing in our heroin is right at half, 50%. That's going to knock anyone out. And again, it's because of this supply and demand. And this is the cheapest drug out there. The age groups. 18 to 24 is the most popular. You're young, adventurous, risk takers. Those are the reasons we can come up with. It might be something else, who knows. We have ages anywhere from 15 to 67 that passed away last year. There's no particular age group that's doing it. Everyone's doing it, but we're seeing the most overdose deaths from 18 to 24s. All of those dots are deaths in our area. It looks like a lot of them, doesn't it? Here's a map of Narcan administrations. All of the green dots are lives saved. The red are the ones that passed away when St. Louis County arrived and deployed Narcan. I just got off the phone with the Assistant Fire Chief of Fenton. They administered 56 doses to 56 individuals last year, saving them. So that's just one other county. When we say St. Louis County, you think we cover everywhere, but we don't. There's over 60 different municipalities and different departments in St. Louis County that also carry this. So this map it really doesn't tell you the truth. It just shows what St. Louis County did as a police department. We administered over 60 doses last year, saving 41 lives, and we launched this in March 1st. So 41 lives in 2016 were saved from Narcan, and so far for 17, we're up to 9. This map might be a little hard for you guys to read in the back, but 63005, 63017, 63011, all of those zip codes see one of the largest amounts of overdoses in the St. Louis County region. So for the ones that are in the back and it's a little bit harder to read, the darker the green, that's where we see the most overdoses. And as it gets lighter and lighter, we see fewer and fewer. So I'll hang around after this is over. If you guys have any questions whatsoever on the police department side of it, please feel free to stop and ask any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Casey. Tonight we have learned about the current problem of drug abuse in our area and the statistics to back it up. We have witnessed how our youth come in contact with the drugs and how they deal with it. We heard firsthand the heartbreaking story of how drug abuse affects our family, our homes, through the death of our children. We heard that the potency of these drugs is strong. There is no experimenting with this drug. You are either addicted or you are dead. The first time. All this information points to the questions, what's next? How can we fight this scourge in our community? Well, tonight I am pleased to welcome some of the police chiefs, fire chiefs, and mayors of communities within the Parkway District. Last year, when we did this program, I met with these frontline leaders and they agreed to adhere to a community leadership pledge you see on the screen before you. They are supporting these goals and more. Since we met over a year ago at our drug advisory event, these leaders have done some great things. I am pleased to announce that a West County Drug Task Force has been organized and has been formed around the leadership of Mike Tiemann of the Metro West Fire District. The task force is made up of representatives of all the fire, police, elected officials, and social services organizations working together to fight the heroin epidemic. They meet quarterly and discuss action plans. Also, I'm pleased to announce that with the addition of the City of Town and Country Police Force in West County is now covered 100% with Narcan in all of our fire department vehicles and police cars. Now all first responders in the area have been trained and ready to use this life-saving drug to revive people after a drug overdose. It's a simple packaging, simple drug, and life-saving. Starting in April, St. Louis County will have a prescription drug monitoring program, or what's referred to as PDMP. Once in operation, this program should identify doctors who prescribe excessive pain medications and abusers of those drugs. Other counties in the region will be joining this program to ensure consistent coverage in eastern Missouri. These are great accomplishments, but the war continues. You need to hold our leaders accountable, and they in turn will hold you accountable. These leaders and myself have pledged to be on the front lines in this war on addictive drugs, but we can only do so much. This war, and it is a war, on addictive drugs involves all of us. Community schools, community leaders, parents, and neighbors. Each one of these points of the triangle has to be as strong as the other 2 points for the community safety net, or the community safety net fails. We are all responsible for the problems in our communities, whether you have school-aged children or not. Everyone has to be part of the solution, or you are part of the problem. I want to implore you to go home tonight, clean out your medicine cabinets, talk to your kids about what we talked about here tonight. Find out from your kids who is selling or spreading these drugs in their school or in their community. They know. And when they say they don't know, they still know. Or their friends know. Be persistent. The proper authorities then need to be notified. The lives you save by your persistence and hands-on parenting may be your own children or your neighbor's children. I would like to thank all of our tireless first responders and community leaders here tonight for their support of our efforts here. Please, let's show them our appreciation.